Your organization's account starts with a single user who can administer the language use inventory, but it's easy to add additional individuals at the organization who can also share that account and use it to administer the language use inventory as well. So to add new users, click the User Management button. You'll see that right now there's only one person from the organization who has been designated as being able to use the account to administer language use inventory, and that's the account that we're using right now. When you add a new member of your organization to the account, by clicking the Add New Member button, you'll be asked to identify the person and enter their email address. Optionally, you can also add a job title. When you add the new user, you'll have a number of options in terms of what that new user is allowed to do within the account. So for instance, a typical configuration might be what we have here, where the new person is allowed to make purchases, in other words, to buy additional credits for the organization. They are allowed to administer the language use inventory, so to draw on that pool of credits, as well as to view the reports from the LUIs that they personally administer. Other permissions that by default are not turned on, but that you could click on if you wanted, would be to allow the new person to also manage the user accounts. So in other words, if you click this button, the new user would also be able to add additional users to the account. Final option here, can view all users' reports, would allow this user to see not only the scored reports for LUIs that they personally had administered, but also to see the scored reports for any LUIs administered by other users within this account at the organization. So in this example, I'll assume that we're going to allow our new user to administer the language use inventory and to view the resulting scored reports for the LUIs that they personally administer. But let's say they're not going to be allowed to make purchases, add new users, or view reports administered by others at the organization. When you click Save, the new user is added to the account, and they will be sent an email informing them that they've been added to the account. When they receive the email, they will need to click on a link provided in that email, which will bring them to this site and allow them to set their own password. And you can see at some later point, if necessary, their entry can be edited. So for instance, different permissions could be added or taken away, or the user could be removed altogether from the account, in which case any scored reports in their account would be accessible only from a user who is able to see all the reports administered on behalf of the organization. When a new user is added to the organization's account, they'll receive an email like this. In the email is a link they can click on. When the new user clicks on that link, it brings them to the language use inventory site, where they'll be asked to enter their email address and to set a password for the account. The new user will also be asked to view the terms and conditions of use, to agree to them, and then when they're done, they click this button to open their account and set the password. Once they've done that, they can then log into the site themselves. At this point, as you can see, the new user has access to the organization's account and can draw on the credits that have been purchased for administration of the LUI on behalf of the organization.